I've built a DIY 20-foot tall, 2,000 square foot dream shop in my backyard, and today we're finishing it. At least that's what the HOA is gonna think.
This project has been a beast, but we've managed to build this exactly as I had dreamed it up on that Walmart poster board years ago. Going into this, I had zero experience in construction other than nailing a few 2x4s together, so every detail and step of this building we had to research, learn, and then just go execute. Details from how far to put that door away from the wall to how to build a header for a 14-foot overhead door. We've pretty much done it all. But because this building isn't an HOA, the outside of the shop has to match the house. We've learned how to do masonry work at a basic level, but we've also learned how hard this is to do solo. So I finally caved, and we're calling in some help.
Thousands of bricks, thousands of pounds of stone. It's wild to think that after all this time and all this work on this dream shop, today is the day, this video. Brick, stone, brick. This thing's gonna look absolutely gorgeous when we're done today, but we got a long way to go to get there, and it's bright and early. It's time to get to work. And just like this mess over here, we're starting bright and early. They're already making noise at 6 a.m. Time for me to make some noise. Got to remove a few sections of fence. We're gonna have the crew actually access the property through the rear here. It's gonna be a little bit closer to all the masonry sand and everything, so let's go ahead and remove the fence, get this thing uncovered. I'm really hoping we're gonna have enough masonry sand for this project, because if not, I'm in trouble. Because over the next 2 days, we have about 3,000 bricks going on that building, in addition to thousands of pounds of Austin stone, limestone, the white stone, to make the building look like this. Anybody want a cargo divider from a Sprinter van? It's only been thrown across the yard twice. If you missed the last video, we spent a lot of time ensuring that we eliminate as many possible mistakes from happening on this project. There's gonna be a lot of guys out here today working very quick and rapidly, so to ensure that we're happy with the final stone layout, we literally laid it out for them. And I did claim the first stone being laid in our last videos. Depending on how crazy today is, I may spend some time over here.
But we're just gonna have to see how today pans out, because it's taken me months just to complete 2 walls. And because of that, we swallowed our pride and finally brought in some help.
All right, it's game time, guys. Here's our crew.
So over the past few weeks, I've been talking with several contractors and masons until we happened to come across this crew. I've had quotes and bids from suspiciously low all the way up to the price of my left arm and leg. Now, the lead on the project actually reached out via Instagram and happened to live just 15 minutes down the road. Now, they usually do more high-end stonework for pools and whatnot, but wanted to come help out. They work during the week, so this is kind of a weekend side job for them, which works out perfect for my schedule. And they also brought in a bricklayer that usually works for some of the bigger name home builders around the area. And as you'll see here in just a second, he flies.
All right, we've got everything staged. We're gonna start on this side of the building and start working down. These guys are gonna move quite a bit quicker than yours truly has been moving over the past few months.
And I was definitely right about that. We had a total crew of 4 guys for this first day, plus the overconfident do-it-yourselfer with the camera. 2 working the front side of the building, laying stone, 1 manning the mortar, and the one and only Hugo, as you'll come to meet here in just a second, laying the brick on the east side.
Oh, wonderful, Maui. All right, right side of the building, everything's staged up, ready to go, but we need to put in at least 1 joint. We're gonna throw in 2 joints. Maui, stay over here. Let them work. I know you wanna say hi, I know. Okay, so I'm gonna put 1 back side of the window, and then 1 in the front side of that window.
Now, these expansion joints we're purposely putting in this brick facade are there to control movement and help prevent cracking in that brickwork, which is also why we put those 2 joints in the back of the building.
Anything more than, is it 20 feet?
20 feet.
You definitely want an expansion joint.
Because over time, brick and mortar absorb moisture and expand. They also expand when heated and contract when cooled. The wood framing and the concrete foundation behind and beneath the brick also expand and contract at different rates, so stress builds up. Without expansion joints, the stress gets released as random cracks in the brick. I got already a few in my house. The joint is essentially a flexible gap filled with sealant that allows the brick to move without damaging.
People are gonna think I sped this video up with Hugo. Just how fast he laid that mud down. And the joint spacing is just like on point.
And just for fun, just to feel embarrassed, here is Hugo versus yours truly.
How long, Hugo? How long you been doing this?
22 years.
22?
Yeah.
But even like the mortar on the face of the brick, that was my issue too. When I would scrape it, I'd just put a bunch of mortar on the face.
Yeah, you definitely got it down.
That's impressive.
On the stonework side, I was blown away at how good this building was looking with stone on it. They seem to use more of a hammer and chisel method to shape the stones versus just cutting them. I really liked how more natural it looked versus manufactured doing it that way.
All right, while these guys are doing this work, feeling a little left out. So we're gonna throw on a couple bricks.
That is until Hugo heard that I was up to something on the other side of the building and had to come over and make sure I was doing it right.
Yeah. Okay, 4. I'll put them on. Would you leave them alone? Let them work, buddy. Maui.
No gloves. No chires. No gloves.
One glove. Hugo's already teaching me things. Thank you. Some Element Dominoes. Lunch of champions. Oh, thank you.
I want a big one.
Pretty good. See the stone at the front?
I did. It looks beautiful.
Looks pretty good, huh?
Looks great.
It's gonna look so dang good. So much better than the front of the house.
Actually, yeah.
See how much mud we got left in that mix.
Oh, we're done.
Oh, perfect, because lunch is here. So Hugo's probably gonna polish off the rest of this mud, and then it's lunchtime. This is looking so good. I don't know how long I've just been kind of imagining in my head what this would look like with stone on it. It looks awesome. And then I've been over here just every once in a while come in and put another brick up. So we're kind of letting it dry and solidify. That way I can kind of put the next one on and kind of pound it down without it worrying about it squishing or moving. So yeah, this is going up all at the same time. It is lunch time for the crew, so I'm gonna knock out this joining real quick while they're taking a quick break, because this will harden up very quickly. It's another day in the beautiful state of Texas. Hooey guys, we're breaking out the hat. It's been a little while. I think the last time I was wearing this in the video was when we were moving around dirt with a rented skid steer thing. That was fun. Thinking about this row lock. So basically the top row where the bricks go from this to this. And the most efficient way to utilize those bricks is to cut it exactly in half. But you can't do that just with whacking it with a trowel. So I think what I'm gonna do, I borrowed my dad's wet saw. I think I'm gonna spend the next few hours literally cutting about 150 bricks straight in half so we don't waste any. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Let's get the cutting. This thing ain't right. And I got the thing rolling around. I have no idea how this works.
Dad tried to explain it to me. All right, so I put the brick here and just, oops, too far. It took a couple tries, but we figured it out. Had to cut the one side of the brick, flip it over, cut the other side to get it perfectly in half. So now we're on to the next few hundred bricks. Warm day, guys, warm day. So, it's going really well. And these guys are absolutely flying. I'm embarrassed, a little embarrassed, how long it took me to do all that, as well as all that. Right now, we are cutting bricks. Because if we're doing this top row here, it's gonna take about 205 pieces to get all the way across on the other side, plus another 60 on this side. That if we cut these exactly in half, that is exactly the size we need to fit up under there. But if you're whacking them with a trowel, we're gonna go through 260 pieces versus 130 pieces. If that makes any sense. So we are spending a lot of time with that guy. So let that set up a little bit. And we'll run to the other side and do the jointing and go ahead and wash the face of the brick. So I'm figuring out that now is the time to get a little bit of water on a sponge and then scrub the face of the brick, and it cleans it up really nicely so it doesn't look like that. And again, on the front side with the stone, they would check my fitment because, as a reminder, I laid out every single one of these. They would chip it away with a hammer for a natural look and install it. This stone front facade was just about done. Okay, this is the side of the building that I don't ever see. Do whatever you want with it. Turns out if you do this now, it's a million times easier than doing it later.
Dad, you want to go all the way down the bees. No, let's do SpongeBob.
Mortar comes right off the face of the brick, and it's nice and pretty.
Do you have another SpongeBob?
Just this one right now, buddy.
No, only one SpongeBob.
Like, look, this has been sitting for like a week. Hot sun. That doesn't come off. Looks good. Knocked out more in one day than I did in 2 months. Looks so dang good. Oh, with the limestone. Technically, I think it's an Austin stone, but basically limestone. Look at the pattern. Really happy we laid that out, but even though we laid it out, they had to add in, you know, a little piece here and there just to make sure it was running even all the way up to the top. And then there, we're gonna transition to brick, and it's going brick all the way up. Went back and forth a little bit on this. We're gonna go ahead and copy the house. So the front of the house, we have brick transitioning from the limestone up underneath the window. And then here, smiley face.
Uh-oh. Hugo found me on YouTube.
Just don't say anything at all. So I won't.
The brick no put the brick tie.
No brick tie.
No.
Well,
There's
there's like 3. They pulled it down, there was like 3. Yeah, that wasn't fun. Taking Christmas lights down, the whole wall goes whoop whoop. Are you kidding me, guys? I don't know how long I've been staring at this shop from that window, just imagining what this would look like with brick and stone on it. It looks incredible. Originally, the plan was to do just all brick. Bottom to top, to front to back, left and right, all brick. And when we had that debacle with the front of the house and the limestone fell off the house, we had extra limestone. So we used it. And then we went to go buy a couple more pieces to make sure we had enough. And ladies and gentlemen, we have enough. I will say though, it was a little bit embarrassing seeing how quickly Hugo, one guy, did all of this. You did have someone helping him mix the mud and do the jointing and whatnot, but the rate at which he was tossing, throwing down brick, amazing. When he would put the brick down, it was here, scrape, scrape, next piece. Every time I lay one down, I lay it down, I look at the line, I tap the front, I tap the back, I tap the front, I scrape, and then move on. It looks so good. As hard as it was to swallow my pride and have someone actually come out here and help me, it was a lot of help because I could actually focus on some of the details that I'm gonna have to look at for any foreseeable future. Tomorrow morning, round 2, we gotta get this top row lock all the way down. I've cut all the pieces, so they're ready to go. We just gotta lay them all the way down. And then we have this behemoth side. This is so fun. Thank you guys so much for watching these videos and being a part of this channel. This is a dream come true, me being able to dive in headfirst to all of these different trades and specialty jobs, these builds, these cars. This is a dream come true, and this space is truly gonna be a space to make some epic content. If you guys haven't yet, hit the subscribe button below. So much more coming on this channel. Thank you guys so much. Let's keep working. Maui. It's a puppy. It's one of those steel security doors that only opens from the inside. This is an important part, the transition, where the limestone becomes brick that will continue all the way to the top of the building. And with this being the most visible part of the building, I want to get it right, because once you lay it down, it's on for good. Good morning, guys. It's a new day. Ready to get going again. So we're spending a lot of time dialing in the length of particular bricks over by the windows on the front and side of the building for a few different reasons. So number one, when I'm mowing the yard, last thing I want to do is catch my knee on a brick hanging out like so. So what we're doing is trimming this in fairly close. So we're gonna have about 1/2 inch overhang there. So the last thing I want to happen is to catch that with my knee and or my kids who are a little bit crazy running around the building. And in the front, we have our transition here. There you go. And then that's gonna be our transition from the stone to the brick on the front side. And then here at the window, same deal. I just don't want it hanging out much. So as we're running past or the kids are running past or playing, they can't catch that edge. But that detail's gonna look really, really good. Bottom side of the window, transition to brick all the way to the top. A lot of work today. It looks like my neighbor got TP'd.
Oh, to be young again. So the plan for this transition is to do a double row lock. Not sure if that's the right term or not, but to make this thing look really good. It's gonna cost a bit more doing it this way, but I think it's gonna be worth it in the end. Now, one detail we have not yet installed on the building is this last transition panel that'll go from the siding to the front brick. We're gonna put that on after the brick is done.
Custom home. It's like that, Hugo. Yeah, so as long as I put the bricks even with the siding, this will go on the outside and cap it in.
Sweet like wine, got honey on her tongue. One hand on a bottle, she got one hand on a gun. She squeezed that trigger, you as good as done. I should be running from you, darling, now to kingdom come. Cause my mother told me as a child, boy, don't play around with fire, cause you might just end up getting burned. And I know the wicked never rest, so I always try my best. But there's some lessons hard for me to learn, like good boys don't play with bad girls. Good boys stay away from them bad girls.
It's amazing how much quicker this work goes when you have multiple bodies pushing it along. Especially when those bodies are very capable, much more capable than mine. But despite the mini hands here making lighter work today, all that it really means is a lot more sweat. And thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Element, we're all able to push through on this hot Texas summer weekend feeling good. Just really sweaty. Element is one of my favorite things to have on me out here in the Mobetta garage. It's a zero sugar electrolyte drink mix that helps anyone stay hydrated without the use of other dodgy ingredients that are found in other sports drinks. It's so easy. Now, hydration isn't just about drinking water. It's about optimizing your body's fluid ratios. An Element's science-backed ratio of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium has done wonders for me. I wish I had this stuff years ago. Element has a strong community. US Olympians, business leaders, pro athletes, and overconfident average Joes like yours truly that serves as proof. Guys, there's a link in the description below. drinkelement.com/Lone Star. Go check out Element. You can get yourself a free 8-count sample pack of Element's most popular flavors with any purchase. And as always, there's no risk to that purchase. If you guys don't like it, they refund your order, no questions asked. Big mahal's to Element for sponsoring today's video, making these things physically and at times financially possible. Let's go ahead, keep throwing, tossing, moving brick. So many bricks. So much sweat. 95 in the shade? Beautiful day. I'm so happy we did this transition. These blocks that break up from the stone, that pattern's gonna look amazing. And then we got our stone guy knocking this out. This might be an issue because it's so perfect, it makes everything else look bad. And by everything else, I mean the side that I did.
Hey,
Hello, special guest.
coming to check it out.
Just line up here where this comes out. Just line up with the windows.
On the main dwelling at 4 feet, basically they break it up and the row lock.
Yeah, I like where just kind of stuff
Some extra.
mortar in there versus putting a brick mix.
What, you mean that we're doing a better job than Dr. H?
Oh yeah, Dr. H. Hey Doc, you missed one.
It's more than one. The more and more we go on this thing, I'm like, we probably need to dial it down a little bit because it's gonna be suspicious how much better that looks than this.
Man, that looks great.
We're not doing anything special around the outside of the garage door, but on top of the garage door, we're flipping them up. What's it called?
The standing them up.
Osvaldo, what's it called when you take the brick at the very top and stand it vertical?
Soldier?
Soldier, yes. The brick soldiers. Like, look at this. Perfect that is. Where you going, Maui? Where you going? Oh, Sarge hasn't seen his truck in a little while. Actually, Mom, you haven't seen it with the wheels and tires.
Not with it all on. Maybe you need a fan or something.
You know, it's funny, it's actually not that bad in here. Yeah, it's only 100 in the shop. We were working in here when it was 106 on this thing. We need insulation, some air movement. Yeah, could put a big fan there. But what happens when you start playing pickleball in here? You can't play pickleball with the fan running.
And while we are debating the viability of playing pickleball with an overhead fan, Hugo was now starting the brick soldiers that would run all the way to the peak of the building.
All right, Osvaldo, do you think we're gonna finish today?
I told him we have to finish today.
Hugo's gonna be working double time. Rapido, but perfecto.
Las dos cosas.
I caught that one. So I'll be honest, I did attempt this myself and then immediately gave up and kicked it. Yeah, we're gonna have them do this detail on the bottom of the door. It was a valiant effort, but we'll give them the win on that one. Oh yeah, it looks so good. Question is, guys, should I paint the door the same color as the wall? Oh, by the way, the Mercedes, it started. I was really hoping it wouldn't. The fuel in this thing is over a year old. If the stinking thing would just get out of limp mode. I don't know how many dollars I've thrown away at this thing just trying to get it out of some type of limp mode. It's just stuck in first gear. I've tried everything on the internet. It just won't shift out of first. Una, dos. 35? 1990? I'd say Hugo looks young. Hugo's what? 32, 33.
1 pound 50.
Lies.
With the
You move too quick for 49. trying to joint and clean as we go, so we don't have to do that acid wash at the end, but we might do an acid wash. But the problem is if we do an acid wash, the better the shop looks, the worse the house looks. So we gotta balance the two. I wanna make this thing look as best as I can because this is our work. But the better that looks, the worse that looks. These guys are killing it on this side. The detail above the door looks really nice. We also got wiring for a light, which we'll install later on, but we put that perfectly in the center. All right, we got Hugo all the way up. Night and day difference between this, and I keep turning around and keep comparing it, but that's what we got to compare it to. HOA needs it to meet and or exceed the quality of the exterior of the main dwelling. And the quality of such is about as close to par as when I go golfing. All right, I think I'm gonna claim the window. I'll still pay you for it. I'm gonna claim it so I can say I did something on this wall. All right, here we go. We are officially moving so slow that the mortar has become a rock. Fail. Okay. It took me so long to finish this that my battery died and everybody left. And it's now nighttime. But it looks good for the most part. I swear, those guys make this look so easy. That was so difficult to get right. Even after all the practice I've gotten over the two sides of the building, this was probably the hardest thing that I've done yet. Getting the angle right, getting it tucked right up underneath that window, get it everything somewhat straight. I think this one sits out just a little bit more because the brick is a little bit longer. It's pushed up all the way against the sheathing, so I can't go any further. But yeah, that one kicks out just a little bit. But you know how we do, guys. Regardless of how ugly it might be, dead on. We're good. All right, we're gonna let that dry up for a little bit, wipe it down with a sponge, hopefully clean off some of this mortar off the face, and then we'll go back and tool it to cut out any of the red that smears over. So process-wise, what I've figured out this entire thing is we wait for the mortar to set up to a certain point. When it's there, then you can take a sponge and wipe off the excess mortar off the face without the mortar joints like bleeding onto the face. Because if I wipe it now, essentially the whole brick will become white. But if I let it set up, I then wipe it and it cleans it off. But most of the time, the red from the brick actually smears into the joint and the joint becomes pink. But then I take the jointer and joint out the joints, and that cuts out or carves out the pink, and it becomes white again. I think process-wise, it's taken us till we got to the front of the building to figure out the best way to keep these things clean, keep them straight, keep the joints going, and make it look amazing, because it absolutely looks phenomenal. I cannot wait to see all this. I can't wait to show you guys what this thing looks like all finished up. But for now, I gotta get up on the scaffolding, wipe down the face of those bricks before it dries up too much where I can't get it off. And once I do that, we're calling it a night. The guys will be back here bright and early in the morning for the final day of brick. See you guys bright and early in the morning. Shoots. And just as a quick reminder, this is my back porch. And out of the area around the exterior of my building, you would think this is the spot that likely the residents will spend the most time outside. And you think you'd want to make it look pretty. So look in here. I never thought twice about the brickwork on the exterior of the building, but it's funny, once you spend some time doing something yourself, you start realizing the ins and outs and what looks good and unfortunately what doesn't look good. So, in comparison, did we do a better job to meet and or exceed the exterior facade of my main dwelling? Oh, this shop's gonna make my house look like a hunk of junk. Final countdown. Couple more to go. What a beast of a project. I got you, Hugo. All right, guys, so when we were chatting through the quotes on the building, I'm not gonna show you guys the exact numbers we're working with. One of the ways, which I learned, folks quote these things out is either by project, obviously, but also like priced by brick, Rolock, or like detail soldier work, as well as stone.
You have to make sure you get the little details, because the little details are the ones that cost the most, you know?
When you're thinking about the detail work you want, if you wanted a flat brick wall with no crazy details, you're gonna be on the lower end of the spectrum in terms of price. But when you start getting a little bit crazy, and me being a little obsessive over the details here, so for example, I wanted not just one, but 2 Rolock because the main dwelling, that's what they did there. We're gonna match that. On top of that, top of the door, we have brick soldiers. And below the door, we have our sill here with the brick. So all these little details will add up on the final cost of the building, including this brick soldier run all the way up to the peak and all the way back down. And again, 14-foot door, we're doing brick soldiers all the way across. So not only does it cost more, it takes a lot more time to do. In terms of the total project, you guys did a ton in just a couple days, 3.5 days total project. East side of the building, we did brick all the way to the top, did a Rolock to transition from the hardy siding to the brick. Below the window, same thing. So we do have a price for the Rolock. We do have a price for the flat wall, call it brick. So I'm gonna get this man paid. Super stoked so far on the quality. These guys have absolutely killed it. I'll drop their email in the description below if you guys are in the North Texas area. Thank you for an amazing work you've done here.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And I appreciate you reaching out, because this would not have happened unless you reached out, were proactive about it. So that was huge. This is for you.
Okay.
Get you guys set with electrolytes. Hey, thank you again.
Appreciate it.
Woo, look at that. I kind of don't want to look until the scaffolding's out and we clean up the concrete. Little peek. Big reveal. And 3, 2. Does she look good or does she look good? Guys, look at that. It's been a few days. The mortar has dried up, really whitened up. Now, it's not perfect. What we go for around here isn't perfect, just, yeah. Plus, the better I make this shop look, the worse my house looks. So we're gonna have to balance the two out. But even with that, I couldn't be happier with the final execution of the outside of the building. We do have a few more things to tackle before we bring the inspector in for his final building inspection for the city I live in. We need one more trim panel here and one on the other side. We're also gonna go through with a caulking or sealant to seal up our flashing up against our brick. Don't know if that's necessary. It's just gonna keep from anybody cutting their finger, running it up underneath. And then we may acid wash a few spots on the back of the building, because I did that myself and it looks horrible. So we might try to clean up some areas, but the front of the building, I think we're about solid. There's 1 or 2 spots above the garage door where I wiped the face of the brick before the mortar was fully set. So it did wipe quite a bit of white onto the face in a few spots, but nothing I'm gonna lose sleep over. Big thank you to you guys for hanging out till this point in the video, for being on this adventure of this dream shop build in my backyard of my HOA managed neighborhood. We'll catch you guys in a few days for our next video. Until that day comes, as always, y'all take care. Ahui hope. Aloha.